Hi everybody, and welcome to Walker's Guide and welcome to a hint of history. Bit echoey where I am, but welcome to a nice rainy day here in Essex. And that's the view of the church door we're at. Yes, we're back at a church. The reason I visit churches a lot and the reason they pop up a lot in these videos is because they are a sturdy point in history. Generally speaking, although the houses in a village may come and go, and the town planning may change, and shops and other buildings, farm buildings, may be knocked down, churches seem to stick around. Now this church, which is in Hadstock, is a bit of a mismatch of history. The main body of the church is Norman with some Saxon prehistory, and the Victorians kindly put a layer of concrete over the outside. So all the beautiful carving and stonework was lost and hidden behind a layer of concrete and flints. They did it to protect buildings. But although we're at a church, we're not actually here to visit the church. We're here to visit a thing in the church. And that is a door. But while we're here, let's have a look round, because it's a really interesting church with loads of history. So walking into the porch, you are met with this beautiful door. And if you've watched the Grinstead video, you'll know I like a door. And this is a beauty. This is an amazing door with all the nail marks, the carving, the timbers. You can see there's replaced timber in there. And that's what we're here to visit today, a door. And this door is big and heavy and huge and lovely. Look at that catch on there. And what a beautiful church it is. The old oil burning lights, now converted to electric clearly, and another door that we're going to have a quick talk about. Now this door, was the rectory door. That meant it was a door that the priest used to enter the church. But do you notice a slight problem? Yeah, it's about 3 foot off the ground. That's about 1 metre off the ground. And it was used until the 1800s, when it was nailed shut and would never be opened again, because one of the vicars, or the priest's son at the time, walked through the door and died. He was 17. Now, the evidence is there, it happened. So this church is fairly old, in fact very old. This church, or the parts we can see from it, are from the 1060s, 1070s. However, here and there we have evidence of that era, pre-Norman building, Saxon building. Indeed, suggested this church actually goes back a long way. Now, if you watched the first video on this channel, or one of the first, we visited the Rodings. And in the Rodings, we visited St Botolph's. Well, this is another St Botolph's. St Botolph was a very English, or Anglian, because he was one of the Angles, saint. He was literally from East Anglia, and he went to France to learn the craft of being, I say to France, but it might not have been, but he went to Europe to learn the craft of being a monk and to become an abbot and to hone his skills. Why are we here? Well, we've actually walked past it, through it, around it multiple times. Up until 2005, this was known or thought to be the oldest door in England. And it's an amazing piece of work. It really is. As someone who works with wood and who understands and plays. And this is an amazing piece of timber. These old pieces here, and I actually feel a little bit special being able to touch this. This door and these timbers are over 1,000 years old, or nearly 1,000 years old. There's a thing called dendrochronology. You date wood by using the rings. So as we know, all trees grow, and each year they lay down rings, and that's how you count how old a tree is. Well, they actually lay down two rings, a light ring and a dark ring. The light ring is your spring summer wood, and the dark ring is your late summer autumnal wood, where it grows a little bit less energetically. And by counting those rings, but more importantly the gaps in those rings, you could have a wide light one, a thin dark one, then two thin light ones and really thin dark ones. You can almost build up a weather forecast or a weather history, but you can use those rings and overlap them and actually see how old or when something was cut down. So that's what was done with this door. In 2003, some scientists from Oxford University came and had a look at the door, and it was found that the rings in the board cover the period from about 663 to about 1022, and that suggests, where the sapwood's been removed from the outside, that the tree that made these door boards was felled after 1034, most likely between 1040 and 1070. The reason I say this was the oldest door in England is because in 2005, dendrochronology was actually carried out on a door in Westminster Abbey. That door was shown to be built probably about 5 to 10 years before this one, which in the long terms, we can't prove any of this definitively. We don't actually know. This door might have had an extra year, 2 years, 5 years drying. That door, the timbers may have been laid up for 20 years before the door was built. We don't really know that fact, but we know when the trees were from. However, that door sits there, doesn't let people through. This is the oldest in-use door in England, and it's still in use. So the architecture around it is later. So the door has been trimmed and shaped, boards have been replaced, but it is the same door. It's Trigger's broom, but not, because actually stuff is the same. The hardware here will have been replaced because the metalwork wouldn't have lasted as long. But all of this was touched and shaped by man using tools probably called adzes. So an adze is like an axe on its side, and it's used for smoothing planks, and you get these telltale little signs here. So, but there was no power tools. The other thing that's interesting is this door did not look like this door. If you'd come here a few 100 years ago, this door probably would have been a completely different colour. And I say a few hundred, maybe 600 years ago, would have been covered in a layer believed to be Dane skin. Yeah, Dane skin, the skin of a Dane, the skin of a Viking, the skin of an invader who was flayed and his skin was flensed, and that skin was turned to leather and laid upon the door and nailed tight. And we can see nail evidence all over it, and it would have been secured, and he would have been there as an example to anyone else thinking about coming and invading this beautiful corner of England. You will not come here, because if you do, we will skin you and we will pin you to the front of our churches. Yeah, okay, well in 2021, a sample of that door, that leather, that skin was found behind one of the hinges, just down here. The hinge was removed carefully, obviously. I love that door. That door is beautiful. It was removed carefully and DNA tested. And yeah, it came back to be bovine. It's cow leather, which, to be honest, I'm kind of glad of. But why would you cover a door like this in leather? Well, the answer is really quite simple. See those gaps in the planks? Everywhere there are little gaps. The wind would come through. And you don't want that. You want to be nice and warm and keep the airflow to a minimum. Also, leather is waterproof, so it makes a waterproof skin on the door, potentially protecting it for as long as the door has survived. Quite simply, that door is historically amazing. Just think of some of the stuff that that door has seen. From modern history, from World War II, the English Civil War, the great change of people going from never leaving their village, never leaving more than 10 miles around them, to fly across the world to visit an island or another country. From people working as serfs and villains, working on the land, to being able to go online and watch a random bloke in a hat and a hoodie talk about an old door. The technology change that door has seen is amazing. And I think for me personally, that's one of the most amazing things that we, especially in the UK, we have the luxury of going. There are lots of places that don't have the history that we have, that don't have it protected like we have. So take advantage, go visit. So a couple of other things about this area. It's absolute pain to get to. It's up near Saffron Walden. So it's just inside Essex, just in Essex. Just over there, about a mile away, is a River Granata. And the River Granata is a very interesting river because as it goes through a rather large town, it changes its name. And it goes from being called the River Granata to the River Cam. And the River Cam gives name to Cambridge. So that gives you some idea of how far up we are. We're up near Cambridge, and this area has been, it's so close to Cambridge that actually if you look for it on a map, it tells you it's in Cambridge. So that's today's video, and that is St Botolph's. That's the oldest door that's currently in use in England. And yeah, thank you for joining me on this rather damp day. I hope you've enjoyed it, and the usual, if you have, like, subscribe, leave a comment, guys, would be great. That's St Botolph's, the, as I say, oldest door still in use in England. And I'll see you again next time on The Walker's Guide. Bye.